Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Once again, this is Jeffrey Daniel coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria. Today is the 28th of June, 2021, according to that old Gregorian calendar. We're going to have to set that straight one of these days, you guys. We're going to have to take our time. We're going to reclaim our time back, reclaim our history one day. 2021. Come on, you guys. But anyway, first of all, I'd just like to say hello to everybody. Thank everyone for coming in and joining into my channel and my posts, whatever, and giving me your feedback, your perspective, riding with me. I'm still riding with you. Look at my lockdown beard. Even though we're not really fully on lockdown anymore, but I'm just keeping a lockdown beard going for a while. It's fun, you know. And let me get in my disclaimers. I am not discriminative against any race of people, any group of people, or any individual, okay? I am only here to bang on issues, subjects, and whatever we have, you know? And I don't like to bang on individual people. Some people may deserve it. You guys know who you deserve it, don't you? But you know, I don't like to bang on individual people. But anyway, today's post is going to be kind of unique because today's post is really dedicated to one of my followers. It's a young man named Leonard Younger. So I would like to thank one of my YouTube family members, his name is Leonard Younger, for inspiring me to address this topic. Although this subject has been on my mind since the 1980s, but I don't think it's ever been properly examined or talked about in explicit details, okay? So this is why I'm doing this. Come on, you guys. For some of you to give me some feedback and give me your perspective and inspire me to now respond to that and give you that. This is what this is all about, you guys. This exchange, you know, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm loving this, okay? So I'd like to thank Brother Leonard Younger for his inspiration on this, because he asked a question. His question was, why come us Black American artists are working so much overseas more than in America, especially the artists from the 70s and the 80s and the soul era, the classic artists. Yeah, we work more overseas than we do in America. So we're going to delve into that and find out why. Okay, you guys? All right. So Europe's addiction to soul music goes back to the very beginning of modern Black music, primarily American Black music, among other genres. Of course, reggae and African music also flourished in Europe, but me being from the Black American soul stock, it's my onus to address my musical heritage and experiences with the European connoisseurs of Black music. Now, you all know me by now, so I'm going to take you back to the origins and give you dates and facts that you're not going to get anywhere else, you guys. So, you know, just hang in there with this excursion of information. If you guys want to get comfortable, you're going to relax, you know, it ain't going to be that long, but you know, I think it's going to be pretty hard to compress about 400 years of musical history into one post, into two posts, into three, into four. So excuse my cursory, I'm just going to go through this and give you guys, you know, as best as I can. Now, in the Americas, Black music was obviously brought across the oceans with the earlier Africans who traveled and populated the Americas long before the arrival of the Spanish, Portuguese, French, or the English. But what we can chronicle is the music that was taken to America via the transatlantic slave trade and became intertwined with the music of the slave traders. Now, one very known popular song was Amazing Grace. In 1773, a former slave trader turned Anglican cleric, John Newton, composed the lyrics after hearing the melody hummed by the actual Africans that he had in captivity. Isn't it ironic that a former slave trader would convert to Christianity, become an avid abolitionist, then write one of the most famous gospel songs of all time, Amazing Grace? Now, my godfather, who helped raise me, Reverend James Cleveland, and Aretha Franklin, they won a Grammy for their Amazing Grace recording. It won the Best Gospel Album, and they won a Grammy for that, for Amazing Grace. Isn't that ironic? From a song that a former slave trader penned. But his self-confession is in the lyrics. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Now, see, that went over you Christians' heads. And you think you're talking about yourself being in sin. No. He admits his involvement in the slave trade made him a wretched man. That's why he said, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. He was blind to the ways of humanity. And then he was able to see that it was wrong, see the errors of his ways. Ironically, he actually was going blind as well towards the end. So that's the life of, what's his name? His name is John. Where's his name right there, you guys? Excuse me for this real quick. John Newton, that's his name, John Newton. Okay, John Newton, all right. So that's deep, you guys. Did you guys ever know that about the song Amazing Grace? And you guys are singing it. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved the wretch like me. And you're calling yourselves wretched? Think about that, okay? So, anyway, a variety of music was being implanted into this infant American culture by the various colonizers coming from England, Scotland, Germany, Spain, France, Ireland, and etc. But most notably, their style of folk songs, comic operas, minuets, and sonatas. But what provided an interblending adhesive to all these styles was the rhythms and vocals that the Africans were held in captivity incorporated into these styles, turning simple folk music into the blues, and the emergence of gospel hymns being hummed in the cotton fields as the captive Africans began to learn the English language and the indoctrination of the Christian religion. Now, I know for a fact that it takes time and effort to incorporate the phonics and flow of another language into your own melodic flow. For instance, if I sing in Japanese with a Japanese melody, it flows better, obviously. But if I try to sing Japanese to R&B music, I'm in big trouble. Oh, so y'all don't think I can sing in Japanese, do you? Okay, hold on. Naze, naze, anata wa kirei ni naritai no, sono me o daremo ga mitsumete kurenai no, yoru wa kimama ni anata o odowaseru dake, koi no yokan ga tara kakenukuru dake. That's Koi no Yokan by the group Anjin Shitai. The lead singer is Tamaki Koji. That's one of my favorite songs. I heard that back in 1984 when I was first going to Japan. Okay, so that's me singing in Japanese, you guys. That's all you guys are going to get. You got to pay for the rest. That's just a sample. Okay, anyway, I'm sure that most of you associate the banjo with folk music and country music. But do you know that the word banjo and the instrument itself is African in origin? Yep, that iconic dueling banjo scene from the movie Deliverance has Africa to thank for the gift of the instrument that made country music swing. And it earned a Grammy Award in 1974 for the best musical performance for the song Dueling Banjos. You guys remember that? I mean, you youngins, I don't think you guys will remember. So now you guys can Google this. Go online and look for Dueling Banjos from the movie Deliverance. It came out in 1974. It's a hell of a guitar and banjo solo battle. It's like a battle going back and forth between a guitar player and a banjo player. I mean, the thing was dope, okay? Lagos is a bit noisy, you guys, so sorry about that. So anyway, unfortunately, most of the black musicians and black music was experiencing a racist acceptance in the American mainstream industry. From its beginning, from the slave era in the 1770s until I joined the music industry in 1977 to date, Black music has always had a battle getting its respect, regardless to how popular and revered its art form is. From the early ragtime music given the appellation jig piano or piano thumping by Ernest Hogan, who was the first African American to star in a Broadway show in 1907, with a popular song entitled, are you ready? Are you guys ready for this? He starred in a Broadway production with a song called All Coons Look Alike to Me, which spurred a succession of coon songs with racist lyrics and stereotypical images of black people. That's how they got into show business, by degrading themselves to the amusement of white America. Okay? That was in 1907. Then 20 years later, Al Jolson came along in 1927 and became America's biggest singing and movie star in the Warner Brothers movie, which was the very first feature film using sound, called The Jazz Singer. Al Jolson wore blackface makeup, imitating a black man, and this mockery made this man of Jewish heritage the biggest and highest paid movie star in America. Stay with me, you guys. I'm getting to this whole thing, but I'm taking you guys back to the genesis. I'm taking you guys back to the impetus of all this thing, okay? Now, then in 1923, at the infamous Cotton Club in Harlem, New York, featured jazz greats such as Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway, among others. But these black music greats were not allowed to enter through the front door of the very club that they were performing in, nor could they patronize the club as a customer because they were black. That has to be the mindset of a sick people, to pay money to come in and enjoy to see these black performers, but yet they didn't look at them as human enough to even walk into the front door of the club. You see, back then the Jews and the whites could imitate and mock black people on stages and in movies, performing music created by black people, but the actual black performers were treated like an uninvited guest at a dinner table. Uncomfortable truth alert, you guys. Here's an uncomfortable truth alert. Maybe this is just one of the many reasons why the Republican lawmakers are now fighting to prevent authentic American history from being taught in public schools, and they're calling it critical race theory. The only thing critical about it was their participation in it. That's the only thing critical about it, was their participation in it. Why would they call it critical race theory? It's a theory. What happened to us is a theory. They're so ashamed of their past that they don't want to teach it. They don't want it to be known. Wow. You got, I don't want to get into this whole race thing, you guys. Okay, but let's keep this moving. Okay. Moving on. Then in 1935, Billie Holiday was signed to the Brunswick record label and became a jazz legend. After serving a jail sentence for drug abuse, she sold out the prestigious Carnegie Hall in New York. She will eventually be hounded by the American government for singing the song Strange Fruits, referring to black Americans being hung from trees. She would eventually sadly be murdered by the American government as she was cuffed to her hospital bed and left to die from a drug withdrawal symptoms. And they knew it. And it was, I think it was J. Edgar Hoover. And they instructed them, leave her, strapped to that bed. They saw her going through the symptoms of her drug withdrawal. I think she was doing opium, heroin, and things like that. Excuse me, you guys. And that was America's greatest black female jazz singer of her era. And that was her tragic end, because she was singing on behalf of blacks who were being hung on trees in America. It was a song called Strange Fruits. Those are strange fruits hanging from that tree. So we couldn't even stand up or speak out on behalf of what was happening to our own people. As long as we were just performing for them and singing for them, we were fine. Same thing happened to Sister Nina Simone. When she joined the Freedom Rights Movement with Martin Luther King, and she started singing Mississippi Dam and these songs, she got ostracized. But until then, they loved Nina Simone. She was playing to a predominantly white audience, as Billie Holiday was. But once they start speaking up for what's happening to their people, they got to go. So I'm getting to it, you guys. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Don't slip, don't slip. Please stay with me, family. I'm taking you on an information excursion to the beginning till date. So please excuse my cursory, as there's just too much details and information to cover in this one post. So let me go on. Duke Ellington, he was the greatest American jazz swing band leader, and he was so successful that his family was one of the first, not black, his family was one of the first families to have a telephone installed in their home, and their name was in the Washington, D.C. phone directory. But yet, he was not allowed to stay in hotels on his tour because he was a black man. Yet he performed to predominantly white jazz music lovers. Ironically now, stay with me, he customized a private train car so he could travel across America. And his train was so luxuriously decorated as a living quarters so that he could have a place to sleep during his tours. A U.S. president had to borrow Duke's train for his election campaign across America. So I'm sorry, you guys, it's difficult to locate the name of that president because it seems that that information is being suppressed in the media. I can't find it when I search for it, but I read about it in his autobiography some years ago. I think back in the 90s, I read Duke Ellington's autobiography, and it showed that one of the presidents actually borrowed his train to go across America for his campaign trail because Duke Ellington's train was decorated and refurbished so nicely. And isn't it ironic that from them stopping him from staying in hotels, that's what made him want to take a train, and he dressed it up and it was fit for a president. This is the tenacity of black people. This is the resilience that we have. And we just keep on going, you guys. We take that kicking and we just keep, what is it? We take a licking and keep on ticking. That's what it is, okay? We take that licking and we just keep on ticking. Okay. To make a long story short, the mainstream American music and film industry was so racist towards blacks, who were responsible for creating damn near every genre of music in modern America, that they had to travel overseas in Europe, where they were accepted with unrivaled enthusiastic open arms. White America had never treated its homegrown black entertainers with the commensurate respect that was received overseas. I'm gonna say that again in case because you guys are looking at the music industry in today's context with these award shows and, you know, the Billboard Awards and the Grammy and all these things like that, but still there's an undercurrent happening, you guys, and I want to repeat that. The white American industry, okay, I'm not putting this on white people, individual white people, you guys, okay, but the white American industry had never treated its own homegrown black entertainers with the commensurate respect that was received overseas. I can attest to that. Okay. While white America was boycotting Chuck Berry and Little Richard, the inventors of rock and roll, for influencing the white kids to dance to that jungle nigger music, the UK and Europe were forming bands trying to imitate their sound, inspiring such legendary groups as the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Do you all know that the Rolling Stones, the longest performing group in rock history in the world, they got their name from a 1950 Muddy Waters song entitled Rolling Stone. Muddy Waters was a blues singer, he's a black man, and he had a song called Rolling Stone. That's where the Rolling Stones got their name, paying tribute to this black American musician. This is how we were being revered overseas, you guys, while America was boycotting us and treating us like what? They even called Elvis Presley the king of rock and roll. But when he first debuted, they were burning his records and calling him a nigger lover because he was singing and dancing like a black man. Did you guys know this stuff? The way Elvis Presley was moving his hip, I'm in love, I'm all shook up, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. He was swiveling his hips, he was jerking and stuff. Now the white kids loved it, but the older white people, they went out to radio stations, they got in groups and they were burning his records, they're doing all this stuff because he was imitating a black man. But yet they later called him the king of rock and roll. Now they call him their king. They were calling it the devil's music, and they didn't want their white children dancing to that jungle monkey nigger music. And he should be ashamed to be white. This is what they were saying, you guys. I don't know if your younger generation even know about this stuff. Now, am I giving you this, what do they call it? Critical racial theory? Is this critical racial theory? No, it's authentic American history. His hit song, Hound Dog, You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, was first recorded by a black woman named Big Mama Thornton. And most of his hits were written by a black composer named Otis Blackwell. But yet they call him the king. You guys, I'm giving you the names. Otis Blackwell was writing a lot of Elvis Presley songs. Big Mama Thornton, back in the 1940s or something, she was the first one to record the song Hound Dog. Google this. You can find it on YouTube. You can see the videos and everything, you guys. It's all there. I'm just pointing you guys in a direction, all right? Now, Little Richard, who was one of the architects of rock and roll, he just passed away recently. His hit songs were covered by a white artist named Pat Boone, and it made Pat Boone a major star. There's just a litany of cultural appropriation in the American entertainment industry, where white artists appropriate black music, dance, and persona to gain fame for themselves. Now, I don't want to just point fingers and put this on everybody, because there's some white people who authentically grow up into the black culture and it becomes part of their culture, and they come out and do it. And it's natural to them. And I don't mind that, you know. In fact, the black people, Casey and the Sunshine Band, the Average White Band, all these groups come up. We like, yeah, okay, Boss Skaggs, you know, what's his name? Gino Manelli. When these people come out and they get it right, we're the first to like, okay, yeah, this guy's got it going on. Eminem, you know, these people, you know, we give them their props. But for so many decades, they were just appropriating our culture for their own gain off of our backs, while we were being treated in the most racist, unfair manner, just for doing what we do, creating what we create, what came from our heart. That's why they call it soul music. And they changed the name to R&B. When I was young, we didn't call it R&B music. We called it soul music. We call it soul dancing. Thus, the TV show Soul Train. We call our food soul food. Black kitchens, food that comes out of black kitchen is called soul food, not R&B. And see, they changed the name to like kind of deter it away from its source, you know? So, however, this is deep, you guys. When the Beatles in 1964, I remember, I was young, when the Beatles first stepped off the planes into America from the UK for the first time, they were met by a barrage of reporters and fans like never before seen. But they shocked the hell out of some of the reporters when asked what was their musical influences, and the Beatles credited black entertainers. Back then in the 1960s, that racist white America, they were like, and they were like praising the Beatles, and they found out that they were influenced by black entertainers. In fact, the UK has introduced more white artists who appreciate and sing black music than in America, where the actual music is coming from. Tom Jones, Dusty Springfield, Jules Holland, Joe Cocker, Lulu, Paul Young, Alison Moyet, Rick Astley, George Michael, Lisa Stanfield, Amy Winehouse, Adele, Sam Smith, UB40, Simply Red, ABC, Jessie J, just to name a few. I can go on and on and on. And they call it Blue Eye Soul. But these English people, they authentically love black music. They love black people. And they get into the culture of it. All those people that I just named, there ain't no fakers and shakers, you guys. I can attest to it. I've met some of these people. I know some of these people, and they are the real deal Holyfield. When Tom Jones came out in the 60s, he had his own TV show. He came out there, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. I mean, he had this, the guy was the real deal, and he's Welsh. He's Welsh. He's not like from the main England. He's Welsh, I found out. He just you could not deny it. Tom Jones was soulful. Was, still is. He's in his 80s or something now. He came back in the 90s, and Lenny Kravitz produced one of his songs. He was produced by different people, people. He did a cover of Prince's song Kiss. Do you guys remember that? Tom Jones. This guy was like, at the time, he must have been in his 60s or something like that. 60s to 70s, I don't know. He went into the studio and they said that his voice was so strong that it almost burnt out one of the microphones because his voice was still so powerful. Tom Jones was a real deal Holyfield. I got to give it up, you guys. And I know you people, us pro-black people, but you got to be real. You got to give it up where you got to give it up, you guys. Tom Jones was a real deal Holyfield. There was a few other of them, okay? All right, so now I can understand one reason why old school black American artists are more celebrated overseas than in America. And I'm gonna try to balance this out for you guys. It's because in America, we continue to evolve and create newer styles of music and dance in each generation. So the youth hear our music and appreciate it as well, but they're keeping up with the pulse of their generation and their current voice. So, okay, I'm a member of Shalimar. We're from the 70s and 80s. They hear our music. They even sample some of it. Missy Elliott sampled it. What was this girl's group? Black or something. One of those girls groups sampled some of it. Mary J. Blige sampled A Night to Remember. She covered, sorry, not sampled, but covered. There are people who pay homage to us, but they're into their generational trend, and they're moving on. But this music is being created overseas, so they still love it. They still have that insatiable appetite for the music. And that's why when we go over there, we get the red carpet still today. So I'm getting to the answer to Brother Leonard Youngster's question. And likewise, the promoters are prone to book more trending and present artists. Of course, there are some promoters who see a viable market for old school acts too, but it's got to be the right conditions. But Europe, Asia, and Africa still relish the classic black music of the 70s and 80s insatiably. Okay? Now, sometimes I do find it peculiar when I look out over a crowd we do these music festivals, and there's 30,000 people out there chanting, "Go Jeffrey, go Jeffrey," as I dance across the stage. And they're singing along to the Shalimar lyrics so loud, sometimes they drown us out. It's really an overwhelming feeling of gratitude, and we can't express enough appreciation for our UK, Europe, and overseas audiences for still loving the songs that they made evergreen legacies. Now, it would be remiss of me if I did not give big props to our super amazing producer, Brother Leon Silvers, for leaving an indelible mark with our catalog of hits. I mean, Leon Silvers took us in a studio, and that guy meticulously put these hits together, and they're still standing the test of time. So we all have to tip our hats and bow to Brother Leon Silvers. Bro, I love you very much. I thank you for everything you've done for us and the sound of Solar, So I have to give it up for Leon Silvers. Without Leon Silvers, there would not have been that sound, okay? And the members of Dynasty, Wardell Potts and Richard Randolph and Nigel Beard, my cousin Kevin Spencer, and William Shelby. They're in the studio playing on our tracks, helping to write all of our tracks. So some of the members of Dynasty, along with William, Dana Myers, Glenn Barbie. There's a group. They had a stable of people who got together, and it took that to put all these great hits together. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all you guys. If I'm missing any names because I'm thinking I'm keeping up with this post, you guys, please forgive me, okay? So, if you guys really just want me to come out and say it, I will. I'll say it. The UK, Europe, Asia, and Africa treats us much better than the white America ever has. And I'm talking mostly about the industry. I'm not talking about white American fans. However, I can walk down the streets of Beverly Hills, Hollywood, even Melrose Avenue, and white people don't even have a clue who I am. On the other hand, as soon as I'm going through the immigrations overseas, they immediately recognize me stepping off the plane. White American immigration officers are drilling me about what was I doing overseas and what's my occupation and can I stand in that line over there so I can have my luggage thoroughly inspected, speaking to me in a very authoritative voice like I'm a suspect. Yes, this only happens to me when I return to America the home of my birth. I'm sad to say this, you guys. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. You guys know I travel around the world. I live around the world. Japan. I'm here in Nigeria. I've been all over Europe. I've been to Australia. I've been to Brazil with Michael Jackson for the They Don't Really Care About Us video. I've traveled all over this world, you guys. And I'm only treated like that when I return to America. I'm only treated like that in America. Let me get on with this, you guys. I was once held for 2 hours landing in LAX. My dance brother Casper had went there to pick me up one time. And they were about to leave because they thought I didn't make the flight. These people were squeezing the toothpaste out of my tubes, looking for God knows what. Swiping inside my shoes and clothes with a swab, trying to detect the hell if I know. They went through everything. And they held me in this room for 2 hours, just going, and I just stood there. I didn't get irate about it. I was like, oh, sure, okay. We went that. Even at the end, well, I was during it, the man, he apologized to me, said, hey, sorry I have to keep you here this long. I said, oh, no, I'm home. If I'm in this room, if I'm out there, I'm home. In fact, you're going to still be in here when I leave here. So you don't have to apologize to me. And that made them more frustrated because I think they're trying to push buttons so that I can go off so they can have a reason. They were looking for a reason to have to detain me, but I wouldn't give it to him. Oh, sure, you want to look through there? Fine. And when he finished, he left everything scattered everywhere. He took everything out and scattered everything. And when they finished, okay, you can put your things back. And how meticulously neat I packed my clothes. So, of course, inside I was frustrated. I was burning up, but I just took my time and I refolded everything so quietly and politely. In fact, I was whistling just to let them know that I am not perturbed. I just went about it and I packed everything. I said, gentlemen, you have a nice day. Thank you very much. And I just walked out. You just have to show that kind of dignity and integrity at moments like that because they want you to show your other side. They're looking for a reason. So you have to be the smart. You have to be the smart one. Don't give them a reason, you guys, okay? Don't give them a reason, okay? Anyway, let me get on with this, you guys. America is either going to have to face a systematic racism once and for all, or it's going to fall like Rome, like Greece, and like Nazi Germany. So, Brother Leonard Younger and everyone else who has wondered why Black American artists performing more overseas than in America, I hope I answered your question and educated you as well. They play more soul and R&B music on the air overseas than they do in America on major radio stations. In fact, they have radio shows dedicated to, so they have a Soul Train radio station in the UK. They have a Solar radio station in the UK. Choice FM, I'm trying to remember all the stations. My Soul. If I'm forgetting anybody, because I'm thinking real quick, you guys, I mean, Tony Blackburn, he dedicated his life to just R&B and soul music. His whole career, he's in his 80s now, you know. Greg Edwards, they had Choice FM, I said that already. I'm just trying to think of it, you guys. Then you go to Japan. Japan has more soul bars in Tokyo than in all of America. They have more soul bars in Sapporo than you would ever find in New York. Soul bars are where they play nothing but, they have record racks, you guys. It's just like, my God, you can't even count them. And CDs now. And it's a bar. They go in there to have drinks and just listen to soul music. They call it soul bars, shot bars or whatever. DJ Chap, DJ Aki. Aki has one called Jim Crow Bar. DJ Chap is DJ Chap's bar. They used to have one called Soul Cop. I'm talking about up in Sapporo. I forgot the ones that are in Tokyo because I haven't gone out in Tokyo. Oh, Temps. They have one called Temps in Tokyo, like named after the Temptation. They have one Soul Train Soul Bar in Tokyo. What other ones that they have? I'm trying to remember the names because it goes all the way back to the 80s and some of them have closed over the years, but some of them are still going. Some of these brothers have been running these places since the 80s all the way through now. Even when hip hop came, when house music came, when all this came, sometimes they had a downswing, but they continue running their soul bars because that's their life. That's what they do. Even DJ Chap in Sapporo, he named his daughter Aretha after Aretha Franklin, his Japanese daughter. You know, so they love what we do in America overseas so much that it's still here in Nigeria, in Lagos. They have a radio station called Classic FM, and all you can hear is the music of Dynasty, Shalamar, Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Jacksons, blah 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 blah, and their African music from that era, from like King Sunny Ade, Fela, and I'm trying to remember all the people because I don't know all the people because I didn't grow up here in Nigeria. But Classic FM is dedicated to old school music. They have some other ones too. They got one up in Abuja too. So overseas has a greater love for the music and the artists of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And even coming into the 90s, that because now 90s music has become old school. When you're playing Nelly and Missy Elliott and some of the music, and then stuff like Houdini and Grandmaster Flash and LL Cool J and all these things, Biggie, Tupac, and all that stuff. Now that stuff is becoming old school now. You guys, Snoop Dogg, but the earlier Snoop, because Snoop is continuing. There's some of these artists who are still continuing. They have that longevity, and that's very rare. But for the people who are in that era, they still roll with it over here, you guys. You'd be surprised. Come over here to Lagos, you guys. Turn on the Classic FM. You guys are going to be bumping in your car. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. I hope you guys are doing fine, taking care of yourselves. If you guys had your vaccinations, if you guys are thinking of having your vaccinations, whatever you're going to do, talk to your professionals about it. Things are opening up. Some people are still apprehensive of opening up. There's a new variant coming along, you guys, so we just have to keep our eyes, ears, and mouths and noses and whatever open and watch what's going on with all this, you guys. I hope we get through this. Shalamar, we're supposed to resume our tour at the end of August if things can hold and stay, but if they don't hold, what can I say? So anyway, you guys, as I always say, spread the love, make love great again, and I'm about to take us all back to the world. I got a song about to come out. I'm about to release a song called Back to the World. We got to take it back and act like humans again. We got to take this planet back into the hands of the people who are the guardians of this planet. You watching the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, we're guardians of the galaxy and this planet, you guys. So we got to take it back, you guys, and the world's going to be a better place, okay? All right. I love you all. Stay safe. And as always, in closing, make love great again, because we will all be great. Bye-bye.